I never thought I'd be the guy writing one of these. I always saw posts about cheating, betrayal, and guys finding out their whole marriage was a lie, and I'd think, man, that's rough. But I never thought it'd be me. I never thought Tracy would do this to me. But here I am, sitting in a bar with a bottle of Jack, ignoring her frantic calls while my world falls apart. A few hours ago, my wife gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. Blonde curls, perfect little fingers, a spitting image of Tracy. The doctors said she was 6 weeks early, but I've been around enough babies to know better. She wasn't premature, she was right on time. And that means she isn't mine. I stood there in the hospital room, watching Tracy cry, clutching the sheets like she was the one betrayed. She tried to play it off, swore up and down that the baby was mine. But the math wasn't adding up, and the look in her eyes told me everything. It wasn't just guilt, it was fear. Fear that I knew. And I did. The hospital rushed a DNA test, but I didn't need it. The moment I saw that baby, I just knew. I walked out before the results even came back. Now, my phone won't stop buzzing. Tracy. My mother-in-law. Even my sister, who I haven't heard from in months, suddenly cares about my marriage. They all want me to come back and be reasonable. But what's reasonable about raising another man's child? What's reasonable about being lied to for nearly a year? I take another sip of Jack, letting it burn down my throat. My hands are shaking, but not from the alcohol. From the rage. From the betrayal. From the sheer stupidity of how blind I was. Because looking back, the signs were there. I just ignored them. That I don't know how long I sit there, just staring at my phone as it lights up over and over again. Tracy's name. My mother-in-law. Even my brother, who barely talks to me, suddenly has something to say. I turn the phone face down. I'm not ready to hear whatever excuses they've come up with. The bartender eyes me, probably wondering if he should cut me off, but he doesn't say anything. I'm not in the mood for small talk. My mind keeps going back to the hospital, to the way Tracy's face twisted when she saw the doubt in my eyes. At first, she played it cool. Smiled, called me Daddy, like it was the most natural thing in the world. But when I didn't move, didn't come hold the baby, I saw something crack in her. Bobby, what's wrong? She asked, voice all soft and sweet. I just stared at the baby. My baby. Or at least she was supposed to be. She's 6 weeks early, right? I asked. My voice was calm, but inside, I felt like I was standing at the edge of a cliff, waiting for someone to push me. Tracy nodded too fast. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. I wasn't expecting her for at least another month. Another lie. Because this baby looked perfect. Not underweight, not struggling to breathe, just a full-term, healthy newborn. I glanced at the doctor and he gave me this look. A knowing look, like he'd seen this before. She doesn't look premature, I said. My hands felt cold. The room felt smaller. Tracy let out a nervous laugh. Oh my God, Bobby, are you serious? You think you're a doctor now? But she knew. I saw it in her eyes. Then the nurse chimed in, oblivious to the war breaking out between us. Well, sometimes due dates are just off by a couple of weeks. Happens more often than you think. 2 weeks? Maybe. 6? No way. I swallowed hard. I want a paternity test. And that's when Tracy lost it. She started crying, holding the baby close like I was the one trying to take something from her. Bobby, how could you even say that? This is your daughter. Look at her. She looks just like me. That was the problem. The doctor, the nurse, everyone got real quiet. I don't even know if Tracy realized how much she was giving away in that moment. But I did. I turned and walked out before she could say anything else. And now here I am, sitting in a bar, drinking myself into a numbness I know won't last. Because sooner or later, the DNA results will come back. And then, there won't be any more room for lies that I don't remember walking out of the hospital. I just remember the sound of Tracy's voice getting smaller and smaller behind me. The way she sobbed, the way her words ran together in some desperate, pathetic attempt to keep me from leaving. But I left. I get in my truck and just sit there. Hands gripping the wheel so tight my knuckles go white. My chest feels tight, like I can't get a full breath. My phone buzzes in my pocket. I already know who it is, but I pull it out anyway. Trace. Bobby, please come back. We can talk about this. Talk about what? How she lied. How she carried another man's baby for 9 months and let me rub her feet, let me put together a crib, let me believe I was about to be a father. Another buzz. I love you. I swear I do. It was just a mistake. A mistake. Yeah, I bet it was real accidental. I bet she just tripped and landed on him. I turn my phone off and throw it onto the passenger seat. I should go home. I should grab some clothes, figure out my next move. But the idea of stepping into that house, the house we built together, where I hung up ultrasound pictures on the fridge like an idiot, makes me sick. So I go back to Mike's. He's in the kitchen when I walk in, scrolling through his phone with a cup of coffee. He looks up, sees my face and just nods. So, I'm guessing it's bad. I laugh. It's not even a real laugh, just a hollow, bitter sound. It's not mine. Mike exhales through his nose and shakes his head. Damn, man. He pulls a second mug from the cupboard and pours me a cup. So what's the plan? That's the problem. I don't have one. I don't know, I admit. I can't deal with this right now. Mike nods like he understands, and maybe he does. He slides the coffee toward me and leans on the counter. You staying here for a while? Yeah. Good. Because I wasn't gonna let you go back there anyway. I stare at the steam rising from the cup, my mind running in circles. Tracy's probably at the hospital, crying to the nurses about how her husband abandoned her. Probably crafting some story where she's the victim, where I'm the cruel, heartless husband who doesn't understand. But there's one question gnawing at the back of my mind. Who's the father? I set the coffee down, my hands tightening into fists. And just like that, I know exactly what I need to do next. I don't waste time. The second the question forms in my head, I know I need answers. Who's the father? I ask, and Mike raises an eyebrow over his coffee. That's what you're focused on right now? I nod. Yeah. Because whoever it is, she thought she could get away with this. And that means he's either long gone, or close enough that she thought I wouldn't notice. Mike leans back against the counter, rubbing his jaw. You think it's someone you know? I don't answer. I don't need to. I grab my phone off the table and turn it back on. Immediately, the notifications flood in, calls, texts, voicemails, but I scroll past all of them until I find her. Trace. I type out one sentence. Who is he? And I wait. For the first time since this whole thing started, she doesn't answer right away. 5 minutes pass. 10. My patience wears thin. Then finally, 3 dots appear. She's typing. Then they disappear. Then they come back. Then they disappear again. I grit my teeth. She knows. And the fact that she's hesitating means it's exactly what I think. I dial her number. She picks up on the first ring, her voice thick with fake relief. Bobby, thank God please. Oh. He. Dead silence. I hear her breath hitch, hear her try to find the right words. But there aren't any. It doesn't matter, she whispers. My blood goes cold. It matters to me. She sniffles. Bobby, please, can't we just? I feel something snap. Tell me his name. Another pause. Then she says, barely above a whisper. It was a mistake. I almost laugh. Almost. Because I know what this is. This is Tracy stalling. This is her playing for time, trying to get ahead of whatever's coming next. But I'm not stupid. If it were a one-night stand, she would have said so. If it were some random nobody, she would have thrown him under the bus already. But she didn't. And that tells me everything I need to know. I hang up without another word. I look at Mike, and he's already ahead of me, shaking his head. Bobby, don't do anything stupid. Too late. Because I already know where I'm going next, I don't say a word to Mike as I grab my keys and head for the door. Bobby, he calls after me. Just think for a second, man. I am thinking. That's the problem. Because the longer I think, the more I realize who this has to be. There's only one person she wouldn't name. One person who was always there, lurking in the background of our marriage. Garrett. Her high school sweetheart. The guy she never really let go of, no matter how much she pretended otherwise. The one she'd talk about with that wistful little smile, the one she swore was just a friend. The one who died 6 months ago. I grip the steering wheel so tight my fingers ache as I drive. If Gary were still alive, I'd be heading somewhere with every intention of knocking his teeth in. But he's not. And that just makes this worse. Because if he is the father, then this wasn't some random mistake. This wasn't some drunken lapse in judgment. This was deliberate. She did this knowing what it meant. I pull into my driveway, cutting the engine. The house looks the same as when I left it yesterday, but now it feels different. Like it doesn't belong to me anymore. I step inside, and the smell of her hits me like a punch to the gut. Vanilla and jasmine, the scent of the candles she always lit. The ones I used to love. Now they make me sick. I walk through the house slowly, my boots heavy against the hardwood. Every framed picture of us, every little detail of the life I thought we had, it all feels like a joke now. I make my way to our bedroom, the place I know she kept all her secrets. I don't even know what I'm looking for. Maybe proof. Maybe closure. Maybe just something to explain why. I open her nightstand drawer. And that's when I see it. A small envelope, tucked beneath some old receipts and random junk. I pull it out and flip it over. My name isn't on it. But his is. Gary. My stomach drops. With shaking hands, I open it. And what I read makes everything so much worse. My fingers tremble as I pull out the letter, unfolding it slowly. The paper is slightly crumpled, like it's been read over and over again. The handwriting is Tracy's. I know it too well. I start reading. I don't even know how to start this. God, this is so hard. I miss you. I miss you so much. Every time I close my eyes, I see you. I still hear your voice in my head, the way you used to tease me, the way you used to say my name. I hate that we wasted so much time. That we had to sneak around, that we had to pretend like we didn't love each other the way we did. But we had no choice, right? I was stuck. I had obligations. And now, just when I was ready to finally be honest, to finally be with you the way we were meant to be, you're gone. It isn't fair. It isn't fair that I'm still here, carrying this life inside me, while you're... I should have told him sooner. But I was scared. Bobby's a good man. He doesn't deserve this. But what was I supposed to do? You're the love of my life. You always have been. I just wish we had more time. I don't know how I'm going to do this without you. I don't know what I'm going to tell him. I just know that this baby is my last piece of you. And I will never let him take that away from me. I love you. Forever. Tracy. My vision blurs. The paper falls from my hands. I feel nothing. No anger. No sadness. Just a cold, hollow emptiness swallowing me whole. She knew. She knew from the second she found out she was pregnant. She knew this baby wasn't mine. She knew it was Gary's. And she still let me rub her back when she felt sick. Let me talk to her belly, thinking I was talking to my child. Let me paint the nursery, pick out names, dream about a future that was never even real. She let me love a lie. I stand there for what feels like forever, staring at the letter on the floor. My ears are ringing. My chest feels tight. Then, slowly, it all starts to sink in. The love of my life was never mine to begin with. I close my eyes, breathing in through my nose. And when I open them again, I know exactly what I need to do next. I sit on the edge of the bed, staring at the letter like it might catch fire if I look at it long enough. She loved him. Not me. Not the man who stood by her side for years. Not the husband who built a life with her. Not the idiot who thought they were happy. Gary. The past she never let go of. The ghost she still clung to, even when she was in my bed, wearing my ring, living my life. And now, she had his baby and planned to pass her off as mine. Like I was just some placeholder. I gripped the edge of the mattress, my knuckles white. I need to move. I need to get out of this house before I burn it down myself. But first, Tracy needs to hear exactly what I think of her. I grab my phone and dial her number. She picks up on the first ring. Bobby. She's breathless, like she's been crying. Thank God I read your letter. Silence. I can hear her breathing on the other end, quick and shallow. Then a quiet, choked whisper, Bobby, I can explain. Explain? I laugh. A real, bitter laugh, the kind that doesn't have any humor in it. You can explain? I repeat, shaking my head. Explain what, Tracy? That you spent years lying to me? That you let me believe I was going to be a father when you knew damn well that baby wasn't mine? She sobs. I didn't know what to do. I was scared. Scared. My voice rises. Scared of what, Tracy? Scared of losing your safety net? Because that's all I was to you, wasn't I? A backup plan. A second choice. No. It wasn't like that, she cries. I love you, Bobby, I do. It was just a mistake. I cut in. That's what you were gonna say, right? She goes quiet. I shake my head, pacing the room. Tell me something, Tracy. When did it start? Before he came back? Or did you run to him the second he showed up in town? More silence. I already know the answer. It was always him. She never really left him behind. She just settled for me. I let out a slow breath, gripping the phone tight. You know what? I don't even care anymore. She sniffles. Bobby, please. No, I snap. I'm done, Tracy. Done being your idiot husband. Done playing daddy to a kid that isn't mine. Done with you. The sobs come harder now, but I don't feel bad. Not anymore. You don't have to do this, she pleads. We can get past this. Please, Bobby, don't throw everything away. I close my eyes, gripping the bridge of my nose. You threw everything away, Tracy. The second you decided to betray me. And with that, I hang up. I stand there, phone still in my hand, the weight of it suddenly unbearable. I should feel relief. Closure. Something. But all I feel is the crushing realization that my marriage was never real. And now, it's time to walk away from it for good, that I don't stay in that house a second longer. I grab a duffel bag and start stuffing it with whatever I can. Some clothes, my toothbrush, my phone charger. I don't care about the rest. The furniture, the pictures on the walls, the life we built. It's not mine anymore. By the time I'm zipping up the bag, my phone is ringing again. Tracy. I turn it off. I sling the bag over my shoulder, take one last look around the bedroom, the place where she used to lay beside me, pretending I was enough, and walk out without a second thought. I don't slam the door. I won't give her the satisfaction of knowing she got to me like that. The second I step outside, I feel lighter. Not better. Not yet. But lighter. I drive back to Mike's. The sun is coming up by the time I pull into his driveway. He's already up, sitting on the porch with a coffee in his hand, like he knew I'd be back. I get out of the truck, toss my bag onto the ground, and let out a breath. It was Gary, I say, my voice flat. Mike exhales through his nose, shaking his head. Knew it. I nod, running a hand over my face. And she knew the whole time. Had a letter and everything. Mike doesn't say anything at first. Just stares at me like he's trying to figure out what to say. Then he stands up and stretches. You want coffee? I blink. That's it. He shrugs. What do you want me to say, man? You found out your wife's a liar, that she never really loved you, and now you're leaving her. It sucks. It's gonna suck for a long time. But you did the right thing. I let out a short laugh. Sure doesn't feel like it. Yeah, well, feelings catch up later. He heads inside and I follow. The house smells like bacon and coffee, and for the first time in months, I don't feel like I'm suffocating. I sit down at the table and Mike slides a mug toward me. So what now? I stare at the steam rising from the coffee. I don't know. I don't know where I'm gonna live. I don't know how I'm gonna explain this to my family. I don't know how to start over after something like this. But I do know one thing. I'm never looking back. For the first time in a long time, I wake up without feeling like my life is a joke. No fake smiles. No pretending everything is fine when it's falling apart behind closed doors. Just quiet. Mike lets me crash at his place without asking too many questions. That's why I came here, because I knew he'd just let me exist for a while. But eventually, I have to deal with reality. I turn my phone back on. Big mistake. The messages come flooding in. Tracy, Bobby, please come home. We can fix this. Tracy, I love you. You love me. Don't let this ruin us. Tracy, just talk to me. Please. Tracy, you can still be her father. Blood doesn't matter. That one almost makes me throw my phone across the room. Blood doesn't matter. That's easy for her to say. She had a choice. I didn't. I scroll past more texts, her mom, my mom, even a few mutual friends who clearly only know her side of things. Then one message makes me stop cold. Tracy, if you don't come back soon, people are going to start asking questions. Do you really want everyone knowing our business? My grip tightens around the phone. There it is. She's not begging now. She's threatening. She doesn't want me back because she loves me. She wants me back because she's scared of what happens when the truth comes out. Because the second people start really asking questions, they'll know she was a liar. A cheat. A woman who spent years playing the devoted wife while sneaking around with a dead man. I should ignore her. I should. But I'm done letting her control the narrative. I type back one sentence. Tell whoever you want. I don't care anymore. I hit send and block her number. Then I let out a breath. For the first time in months, Tracy doesn't have power over me. And it feels damn good. Blocking Tracy should have been the end of it. It should have been the moment I finally got to breathe, to start moving forward. But Tracy? She's like a bad habit. She doesn't just disappear. She escalates. It starts small. A few texts from random numbers. At first, I ignore them, but then I see her writing style, the way she types my name like it's supposed to make me feel something. Unknown number, Bobby, please, don't do this. Unknown number, I know you blocked me, but we need to talk. Unknown number, we can make this work. I can't do this without you. Each message goes straight to the trash. But then she starts pulling other people into it. I'm at work when my sister texts me. Samantha, dude, why is Tracy calling me crying? Samantha, she's saying you abandoned her and the baby? Samantha, what the hell is going on? I sigh and rub my temple. Tracy's already rewriting history, playing the victim. I don't even get a chance to respond before my mom calls. Bobby. Her voice is tight, worried. I just got off the phone with Tracy. Of course she did. And? I ask, already exhausted. She said you left her at the hospital. That you won't talk to her. That you're refusing to see the baby. She's not my baby, Mom. Silence. What? I exhale, gripping the phone tight. She's not mine. I got the test back. 0%. Tracy cheated. The baby belongs to Gary. Mom doesn't respond right away, and for a second, I think she might have dropped the call. Then, a quiet, shaky breath. Oh my God. Yeah, I mutter. Now you see why I left. There's another long pause then. She didn't tell me that part. No, she wouldn't. I let out a bitter chuckle. She's hoping I'll come back before everyone finds out the truth. She's embarrassed. I don't even know what to say. There's nothing to say, Mom. I'm done with her. I just need you to understand that. She's quiet for another moment, then sighs. I do. For the first time in days, I feel like someone is finally on my side. But Tracy? She's not done yet. That night, I crash on Mike's couch again. I know I need to start looking for my own place, but my brain is too fried to deal with all that right now. I'm half asleep when I hear the knocking. Not a normal knock. A pounding. I groan, rubbing my face as I sit up. Mike, I mutter, tell whoever that is to screw off. But Mike's already at the door, peeking through the blinds. Dude, it's Tracy. I'm instantly awake. Mike looks at me. You want me to handle it? I shake my head and stand. I'll do it. I don't know what I expect when I open the door. More tears? More begging? What I don't expect is for her to push past me and march inside. I blink in shock as she storms into the living room, her face streaked with mascara, her hands clenched into fists. What the hell is wrong with you? Mike whistles under his breath. Yikes, he mutters before slipping down the hall, wisely deciding to stay out of this. I take a deep breath and cross my arms. What do you want, Tracy? What do I? She lets out a hysterical laugh. Are you serious? You blocked me. You told everyone I cheated on you. You did cheat on me. She stops, her mouth opening and closing like she's struggling to find the right words. I made a mistake, Bobby. But that doesn't mean you had to humiliate me like this. I stare at her, feeling nothing but disgust. Humiliate you? I repeat slowly. You think you're the victim here? Her eyes shine with fresh tears. You left me at the hospital. You won't even look at the baby. Do you have any idea how that makes me feel? She's not mine. Tracy flinches, like I just slapped her. But no. No buts. You knew. The whole time, you knew she wasn't mine, and you let me believe she was. You let me plan a life around a baby that wasn't even mine. You let me, my voice cracks, but I push through. You let me love her. Tracy looks away. That's when I realize, she's not crying because she's sorry. She's crying because she got caught. I let out a slow breath and shake my head. I want a divorce. Her head snaps up. Bobby. I'm done, Tracy. My voice is quiet but firm. I don't love you. I don't even know who you are anymore. She stares at me, her whole body trembling. You don't mean that. Yes, I do. Her lip wobbles. Please, she whispers. We can fix this. I shake my head. No. You broke this, Tracy. And I'm not putting it back together. Silence. Then, finally, acceptance. Her shoulders sag. She wipes her face with the back of her hand and nods. Fine, she whispers. If that's what you want. It is. She looks at me one last time, like she's trying to find something in my face that isn't there anymore. Then, without another word, she turns and walks out the door. I watch her go, waiting for the regret, for the sadness. But all I feel is relief. Tracy doesn't call. Doesn't text. Doesn't show up at Mike's house again. For the first time in days, there's silence. But silence doesn't mean peace. Because Tracy might be gone, but the damage she left behind? That's still here. It starts with the whispers. I go to the grocery store for the first time since leaving home, and I feel it. The way people glance at me, then quickly look away. The hushed conversations that stop when I walk by. Small town gossip moves fast. When I get to the checkout, Mrs. Henderson, who's been bagging groceries here since I was a kid, gives me a sad smile. Hang in there, Bobby. I stiffen. Thanks. She nods, but there's pity in her eyes. Like she already knows. Like everyone already knows. And honestly, let them know what she did. Let them know that Tracy isn't some poor abandoned wife. Let them know the truth. But Tracy? She's not going down without a fight. That night, I get a call from an unknown number. I don't pick up. Then a voicemail. I put it on speaker while I sit on Mike's couch, already knowing who it's from. Bobby, it's me. A shaky breath. I know you don't want to hear from me, but I had to try. People are talking. They think I'm a terrible person and I can't take it. I know I hurt you, but this isn't fair. I lost everything too. Gary's gone. You're gone. I just wanted my baby to have a father, Bobby. I just wanted her to be loved. I scoff. But Tracy doesn't even know what love means. I made a mistake, but I'm not a bad person. And I know you're angry, but her voice cracks. If you ever loved me at all, can you please just stop making everyone hate me? I delete the voicemail without responding. Tracy doesn't want forgiveness. She wants a clean reputation. She doesn't care about what she did to me. She only cares that people know what she did. And I'm not gonna clean up her mess. 2 days later, just when I think things might be settling down, I get a text from a number I never expected. Gary's wife. At first, I think it's a mistake. But then I open the message. Hey Bobby, I don't know if you want to talk, but I think we need to. I stare at the screen, my stomach twisting. I barely knew her. Gary and I weren't exactly friends. More like old rivals who had an unspoken agreement to stay out of each other's way. But she knew. She had to. I don't know what I'm expecting when I call her. Screaming? Accusations? What I get is quiet sadness. Hey, she says softly. Thanks for calling. I grip the phone tight. What do you want? She sighs. To be honest, I don't even know. I needed to hear your voice. To know I'm not crazy. I swallow. So you knew. A bitter laugh. Of course I knew. I knew for years. But I kept telling myself it was in the past. That I was just being paranoid. That she wouldn't still love him after all this time. I don't say anything. Because I know exactly how that feels. She exhales slowly. I should have left him. I should have left a long time ago. I clench my jaw. Me too. There's a long pause. Then quietly she says, I'm sorry, Bobby. For everything. I close my eyes. I should hate her. She knew what was happening and never warned me. Never gave me a heads up that my wife was in love with her husband. But the truth is, she was just as trapped as I was. I'm sorry too, I mutter. Another silence. Then, if you ever want to talk, I get it. I nod, even though she can't see me. Yeah. You too. We hang up. And for the first time in this whole mess, I realize I wasn't the only one she betrayed. That I think that call with Gary's wife, Megan, that's her name, might be the end of it. The final piece of closure. But Tracy? She's like a cockroach. She doesn't know when to quit. It happens while I'm at work. I'm stacking boxes in the back when my manager, Doug, calls me into his office. The second I walk in and see his face, I know something's wrong. Doug's a good guy. Not the type to get into his employees' personal lives. But right now, he looks uncomfortable. Bobby, he starts, folding his hands on the desk. Got a call from Tracy. My whole body goes stiff. She told me you've been having some issues. Said you might need some time off. I stare at him, my mind racing. She said what? Doug clears his throat. Look, man, I don't want to pry, but she was saying some pretty serious stuff. That you've been unstable since you left. That she's worried about you. Unstable. My hands clench into fists. That lying. I take a deep breath, forcing myself to stay calm. Doug, let me make this real clear. Tracy is my ex. She's trying to mess with me. I don't need time off, and I sure as hell don't need her calling you. Doug studies me for a long moment, then nods. That's what I figured. Just wanted to hear it from you. I nod stiffly. Thanks. But inside, I am livid to be why the time I get off work, I'm fuming. I should let it go. I should ignore her, let her dig her own grave. But Tracy crossed a line. I drive straight to her mom's house. The place she's been staying since I walked out. When I pull up, she's on the porch, rocking the baby in her arms. She looks up, and for a split second, there's hope in her eyes. Like she thinks I came back for her. I slam my truck door shut, marching up the steps. What the hell is wrong with you? The hope vanishes. Bobby, please. No. No more begging. No more fake tears. You called my job? You tried to make me look crazy? She has the nerve to look offended. I was worried about you. I bark out a laugh. Yeah, that's funny, Tracy, because you didn't seem so worried when you were lying to my face for a year. Her face crumbles. I didn't want to hurt you. Well, you did. Over and over again. And now? You don't get to have a say in my life anymore. She clutches the baby tighter, her voice trembling. Bobby, I just wanted her to have a father. I exhale slowly, staring at the tiny bundle in her arms. The baby I almost believed was mine. She does, I say coldly. He's just dead. Tracy flinches like I slapped her. I step back, adjusting my jacket. This is the last time we're doing this, Tracy. You stay out of my life. You don't call me. You don't talk to my family. And if you ever mess with my job again, I swear to God, I will make sure everyone knows exactly what kind of person you are. Tears spill down her cheeks. I loved you. No, Tracy. I shake my head. You loved him. I was just the guy you settled for. She opens her mouth, but I don't give her a chance to respond. I turn and walk away. And this time, I don't look back. For the first time in weeks, I feel like I can breathe. No more texts. No more voicemails. No more of Tracy's pathetic attempts to guilt me into fixing her mistakes. After that last confrontation, I think she finally got the message. She lost. But there's still one last thing I need to do. I meet with my lawyer the next day. He's an older guy, mid-50s, the no-nonsense type. The kind of guy who's probably seen every version of a messy divorce there is. He barely reacts when I tell him my wife cheated and had another man's baby. Just nods and starts flipping through paperwork. "This'll be straightforward," he says, adjusting his glasses. "No kids involved, no shared debt. Just sign the papers and it's done." Done. I like the sound of that. "Can I speed this up?" I ask. "I don't want to drag this out." He sighs. "We can file today, but she still has to sign. If she fights it, it'll take longer." I clench my jaw. She won't fight it. He gives me a skeptical look but shrugs. "I'll have them delivered to her." I shake my head. "No. I'll do it. If this is ending, I want to be the one to end it, that I don't go to her mom's house. I'm done showing up like some wounded idiot while she gets to cry and play the victim." Instead, I text her. Meet me at the park in an hour." "Tracy, what?" "Me, you know why." She doesn't respond, but an hour later, she's there. She looks different. The usual fakeness, the performance she always put on, it's gone. No makeup. Hair in a messy bun. She looks tired. Drained. Like she finally realizes there's no coming back from this. I don't say anything as I hand her the envelope. She takes it with shaky hands. "What is this?" "You know what it is." Her eyes scan the papers. Her breath hitches. "Divorce." I nod. "Sign them." She looks up at me, eyes glassy. "Is this really it?" I fold my arms. "It was over the second you decided to betray me, Tracy. This is just paperwork." A tear slips down her cheek. "I never wanted to lose you." I laugh. A bitter, empty sound. "Yeah, well you did." She looks down at the papers again, her fingers gripping the edges. "Can we?" she swallows. "Can we at least say goodbye properly?" I shake my head. "We said goodbye the second you chose him over me." She lets out a quiet sob, but I don't care anymore. I turn and walk away. And for the first time in years, Tracy isn't my problem anymore. I don't look back. Not when she sniffles. Not when I hear the paper crinkle in her hands. Not even when she whispers my name like it might make me stop. Tracy has spent years holding me in place with her words, her tears, her excuses. Not anymore. I walk straight to my truck, throw the door open, and get inside. My hands tighten around the steering wheel, and for a second I just sit there, staring ahead. It's over. No more Tracy. No more lies. No more pretending that the last decade of my life wasn't built on a foundation that wasn't even real. And for the first time since this whole thing started, I don't feel angry. I don't feel like smashing something. I don't feel like drowning myself in Jack Daniels just to take the edge off. I just feel tin. I start the engine and drive away, leaving Tracy sitting alone on that park bench with nothing but her own mess to deal with. And that's not my problem anymore. The divorce goes through faster than I expect. Tracy doesn't fight it. Doesn't delay it. She signs the papers and sends them back without a word. Guess even she knows there's no coming back from this. A month later, I find an apartment. It's nothing fancy, just a small place on the other side of town, far enough away that I don't have to see reminders of the life I left behind. I settle into a routine. Repeat. It's simple. It's quiet. And for the first time in a long time, it's mine. My family stops walking on eggshells around me. My sister finally stops texting me every other hour asking if I'm okay. Mike stops acting like I might punch a wall at any moment. And me? I stop waking up in the middle of the night expecting to hear Tracy breathing next to me. I stop picking up my phone out of habit, thinking I should check in on her. I stop thinking of myself as a husband. Because I'm not anymore. And honestly, I don't miss it. Tracy reaches out one last time. It's late, maybe 11 p.m., and I'm sitting on my couch, flipping through channels when my phone buzzes. I almost don't check it. I already know who it is. But something in me wants to see what she has to say. I open the message. "Tracy, I know you don't want to hear from me. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. For everything." I stare at the screen. Not for a second do I believe she suddenly found real remorse. Not after everything she did. Not after the way she tried to play the victim when it all fell apart. But maybe, just maybe, some small part of her actually regrets what she did. Not that it matters. I type out my response carefully. Me, I hope you figure yourself out, Tracy. But I'm done. Don't reach out again. I hit send. Seconds later, the read notification pops up. 3 dots appear. Then disappear. She doesn't respond. I block her number. Not out of anger. Not out of spite. But because for the first time in years, I am free. And I am never letting her drag me back. Some people spend their whole lives trying to fix things that are already broken beyond repair. I almost became one of them. But here's what I've learned. Some things aren't meant to be fixed. Some people aren't meant to be forgiven. And sometimes, the best revenge you can get, the best way to win, is to simply walk away. Because when you finally let go of the past loses all power over you. And that feels better than any payback ever could.